I have finally built the craziest trading hall ever built on hardcore Minecraft. With over 200 Heart of the Seas, tridents, and nautilus shells that align the top of the hall. Having a total of 15 sections where I held drowns inside of geodes, gave them all tridents to transform every villager to get max trades. Now there's one thing I didn't finish with this hall. I only got 2 sections done. For me to finish this, it's going to take over 50 hours just alone on the villagers to get max trades. As of right now, we are 100 days away from 2,000 days, so I'm taking the time to finish up the bottom of the base, so my whole mega base will finally be finished for 2,000 days. And did I mention, I built all this inside of a mini ocean monument, inside of the ocean monument, under the mega base. Well, now it's finally time to show you guys the process of how I built this. I had an idea in mind what to do, and I was like, alright, inside the mini ocean monument, it was a little bit smaller than every other building I was doing around like my main ocean monument. I wanted to build a mini one inside of it, so I was debating on what to do with that because it didn't match the scale of everything else. And as you've seen, I put a ring around it to make it look like it's the mini ocean monument, so it matches all the heights of all the other buildings. And I was like, what do I do for this? So I figured I'd go down, build the trading hall for the villagers inside of that. It would be perfect because it'd be underground, and I really like the halls that are more organized, kind of in sections of like, you know, you go down the hallway and you can go in each room, whatever you want to do. So that's basically how I got the idea for the whole spot of where it's at. But enough rambling about that. Just to summarize what you guys just seen and what I'm doing now, I went through and cleared out all the areas for all the rooms, mined them all out, put beacons down. There's a lot of water under here because, you know, we are inside the ocean monument building underneath of it. After I did all that, I mined it even down more for the floor because I wanted to put the stone bricks in, and we aligned the whole entire floor with the stone bricks. This way, and as you've seen in the intro, what I have is the coral reef I've built. Now, like my whole base is like a lot of black, a lot of frog lights. It's kind of like bland on the colors. It's more of so of just like dark with a pop of glowing colors. And to show you guys that I could use more colors, so I went for something colorful. And the whole main theme of the ocean monument, I figured inside the mini ocean monument, basically decorate it as all the different blocks you can get from an ocean monument. And since an ocean monument has water, figured make the coral reef to give it life as like an aquatic environment. I put the guardians in the side, really making it like the ocean monument, trapping those, which anything that has life or into your build will give the whole build life itself. Knowing that I needed all these blocks, I figured I'd go build a guardian farm, and I popped the totem as soon as I went in there. But I finished up this guardian farm, and we ended up making 2 farms to fully do this because I needed a drown farm as well to get all the tridents and the nautilus shells that align the top of it. But we got this guardian farm finally done, and I know I needed one for a while. I kind of pushed it off because I had the frog light farm, so I really didn't see myself using many sea lanterns, but now I know I needed it, and should have made it earlier because I needed a source of food. I think I only AFK'd it for like 5 or 10 minutes and it got that much. And the thing with the guardian farms, I was going to originally build like the mega one inside the base, but it was going to take up way too much space in my ocean monument, so I was like, there's no point to this. And I built some like real quick easy one, and I'm telling you, you get way more than enough that you need. You can AFK that thing for like an hour and you'll be set, unless you're doing like a huge giant project. Then you could probably need another one, but you could literally AFK it overnight with more storage and should be fine with just a small one. Now that the farm's done and I AFK'd it, I got all the sea lanterns to finish it up, so now it's really time to go through and really build the floor up. Gonna put some diamonds in. I think I added over 2 stacks of diamond ore, the regular one, not the deep slate. And after this, we're gonna start adding in the water, and then that's when we really could turn this place into life. You know, we could have life under here, and there's really not much life in my base yet. I'm trying to get some more stuff added into here. Time goes on, I think we're gonna do more work on my base even after it's finished, just like add little stuff, trying to get it mainly finished just like for the appearance looks now. And as you can see the transformation, we went from no diamond blocks to the diamond blocks, and that's also going to give it a tad bit of light down there. It's already light enough, so it really doesn't do much, but you can see it within the coral reef whenever it's fully done. It just looks nice. It's a nice touch to add. And before we end the topic about life, I really want to get a little village or a town built, and I have an idea for something, but I still need to finish 2,000 days. So I think after 2,000 days, I can finally take a break from my base and go and build a little town. I'm not going to exactly say what it is yet. I'm really going to try my best to build it. I have been wanting to do this for months now, but I've really just been stuck inside of here. That's going to be coming up next. Still haven't even got a chance to build it. But as you can see right now, this is where I added in the water. So to do this, and I should have did this first, was built the layer of stone above, so whenever I put all the water down, it would be flush, having to go in and place all this down and then put the water back on again, and then get rid of all the blocks to make solid water blocks for the source, because we're going to have fish, the coral reef fish living inside of here, all the tropical fish. I really wish we could add the axolotls in without eating the fish, because that would be sick to have those in here too, but they're going to eat them all, so we can't have those. All we could have is the fish. I was thinking about adding some squids, but never got around to it. We just added those. So you're basically just going to see me finishing this up, and I also want to talk to you guys about what I've been doing. I've been playing the new COD, Modern Warfare 3, so I've taken a little bit of break from Minecraft. This whole like working in one base for 2,000 days kind of has me a little bit impatient in this village trading hall, having like 50 hours in real lifetime to finish all the trades, because if you want to max them completely out, like doing the math, I think it was like 50 in real life hours, and not to like add all the extra stuff in between. That's exactly for that. So it could take up to 70 hours, and I knew if I were to sit there and do that, I would never be able to put this video out in time, and I really can't sit there and constantly do that. I think what I'm going to end up doing is throughout time, if I need villagers, I'm just going to add them into the hall. I really didn't want to release an unfinished like project, but like, and the whole main project of it is the villagers. It's more so of the build itself for me that really makes it, and I mean, as you guys know, it's going to be finished. It's going to be finished over time. It's just one of those things where it's tedious, it takes a long time to do, and you could really only do that, and with only 100 days left, I don't know how many, like 50 hours equates to Minecraft days. It's probably a couple hundred, so we would still be basically stuck in there with nothing done. And as of this video, the whole base is done. I kind of have 100 days to play around with just like finishing up some small stuff around the base, so I'm pretty hype about that. The one thing that sucks about trying to commentate this project is it's basically me doing the same thing to 15 rooms. Like, I really don't think there's anything different I do. It's just all basically a repeated thing. We're basically going to go in, you know, put all the stone in and then put the water on top to make it flush, and repeat that 15 times. So you're basically going to be seeing me do this 15 times. It's nothing special. But after this water gets in is when we're going to go through and put all the tropical fish in. Then we're going to get the coral reef in, and then we're going to come through with some bone meal the floor. That way it gives it weeds and everything else, kelp, whatever you want to put in. I put some kelp in, and also put some amethyst shards and crystals along the bottom. I am really excited to finally get like this finished, the mega base finished, and then move on to a new project, which will be the town I'll be creating. I'm struggling to find somewhat of a spot for it. I have a couple ideas of spots in mind that I've already looked at. I hate to travel far, but it looks like I'm going to be traveling through the nether to get to most of the spots with portals. I still need to go and get another base made. I've been wanting to work on that. That's going to be a huge project, and I really want to get an end base made. I would like to get overworld, you know, nether and end finished in my world. If I ever do lose it, whenever I do, I would really like to have all three of those made. And was spending 2,000 days on, you know, one project, and it's still not as done as I want it to be. It kind of sucks. I kind of wish I would have been able to do it quicker, but doing something this big, you know, it's hard to do it. It's hard to do it quick. And the thing is I don't even have it really that detailed. I could sit there for another 5,000 days on my main base and really make it extremely detailed. It's really all about the time you want to spend on something, how good it's going to come out. If you spend 5,000 days on one thing, it's going to come out extremely good. You know, you can make huge projects, but the one thing about the render distance, it is big enough to where it's hard to see it all in render distance, which kind of sucks because you start to lag with the render distance. But I would love to be able to make something extremely huge. But man, you could sit there for 10 years of your life trying to, it's like almost in real life trying to build something. I mean, you could spend a lot of time trying to make it. So I'm really going to try to get through and get the nether base done and the end base done, and hopefully have everything done by 10,000 days. If I could ever reach 10,000 days, that's going to be the goal. And with the whole ancient city like being added, I'm pretty sure they're going to add a portal into that room. So before they do, I'd love to get a whole entire ancient city reformed, terraformed, whatever you want to call it, just recreated into my own thing before that, because eventually we're going to have to use that portal. So if I can get in there and do it now and have it all situated, then it'd be great. But it's I wonder, like, if you do build something in there and you do finish it, if it's gonna not be able to work and you'd have to find a new ancient city. It's like, who knows what's gonna happen yet, but I think I'm gonna go through and transform an ancient city eventually. That's another one that's been on the list to do. But now you can see the water's finally done. Now it's time to make a trip to the coral reef and come back with some stuff. Finally, the coral reef floor is almost done for the trading haul. We just got to add in the rest of the tropical fish. And I ended up going with black glass to layer over it. Whenever I tried to do clear glass, it just didn't look right. And I figured the black would like make it look more flush. For some reason, whenever you have to switch over to fabric, Shader Pack doesn't allow connected glass textures. Now, there's probably a mod to do that, but I haven't really messed around with it. So until then, I just went with the black glass. I really do like the black glass look for it, though. I like how it like darkened the coral reef underneath a little bit, and at the end you'll really see how it blends together with the black glass over clear. A little trick I use for it just to kind of get around the connected glass texture stuff. And one thing about making this floor, it was really fun to make it because it gave me something to do the whole time. I got to run around on different missions, going to get the coral, just mining it all down, you know, making a farm for the sea lanterns. And like there's two kinds of people in Minecraft, I guess you say, or just in the world if you use like your own looks at things. There's one person who's going to use 1 or 2 blocks and build and get it done quick because they're like, all right, I want it done quick. And then there's other people who will really, with the creative mind and who have the patience and time to really make something come together. You know, I spent a week on just a floor alone doing that concept. It all revolves around matching the theme. So when you do something that's really sick like that and you spend your time, if you could match it with a theme as well, then that's when it really comes together as like a work of art. And I feel like it's more of a work of art than it is a build at that point when you really spend that time to do it, that extra time. Something that could have taken 1 hour took a week. That's like the whole thing about, I think what's the key to Minecraft and really having a really good world is using your own creativity and taking the time in. And if you do that extra time, then your builds will be that much better if you just add that little bit of detail and creativity. I think that's the key to it. And I'm real happy with how the floor came out. I think it's one of my favorite things I've built in my whole base, let alone my base. It's definitely up there with one of my favorite things I've ever built. And one last thing about like taking your time, you could make 1 or 2 block floors look really good. Like you could make stuff bland or you could add detail and just your own creative side to it. So you don't need a bunch of blocks to make something sick. I mean, you could use a couple and make it look really good. It's just really all about using your creativity. Like if you use more blocks, you could be more creative. And I think it's very hard to use blocks that aren't overused, like tough, gravel in your builds, sand, like stuff like that is kind of a more bland color. It's hard to use and make look good, but there's a lot of people out there who could use multicolored blocks that are kind of a blandish color. And that's like another really big thing is just learning how to use your color palette. That's one thing about the coral reef is it's kind of easier to use because there's a lot of popping colors. If you could just do contrast with it and you could really make it come together. I mean, it's just a bunch of colors you put together. It's going to match very well with like that theme of a coral reef because I mean, that's how it looks out in the wild in the game. If people could use blocks that are different and kind of take netherrack and make netherrack look good, you could really do it with any kind of block. It's just how you could figure out how to blend them. And that's one really big key thing. And that's one thing I need to work on more of. I need to know how to use the blocks that I would never want to touch for a build. And that's another really strong suit you could have in Minecraft to make really good builds. But now we're at the point in the video where I'm finally adding in everything to make the trading halls. We got everything cleared out. So I went through and, I put the glass floor up and now it's time to make the stalls. I've mined everything out. Now it's fully opened area. And now it's really just time to sit here and play around with how am I going to make these stalls? What color do I want to go with? And at first I was like, all right, I definitely want to do the dark prismarine, but it's extremely hard to get with just having that small guardian farm. And I was like, man, it's going to take forever. I have to AFK this farm. Ended up doing that, got all the stairs in for it. And then it was just time to figure out how to play with that. And during like the staircase as it comes down, I kind of made a pattern of how the blocks are going to go. So I went off of the pattern of the staircase I used. And I was figuring out how am I going to make the stalls and also going to use, the sea lanterns as lighting. As I finish this up though, I'm just going to throw some music on it and then I'll be back after that. Well, now we're finally on to one of the hardest parts and most time-consuming parts. This ceiling took forever to do, and I was wondering what to do for a ceiling. I was looking up, and I wanted to do something with either black stone or black concrete to kind of match the floor with it being black glass, and I figured I might as well try something with lights because I had a whole bunch of end rods saved up. And I ended up basically going with like a more modern LED light, kind of something you'd see in like a factory or a mall, like a bigger complex. And it really came out looking crazy. I haven't seen a lot of stuff like this. Maybe there's a bunch, who knows, but this is one of my ideas I came up with, and I really like the ceiling. It took so long to finish it, and as I got the first stuff done, I was just going to do the inside of the rooms, but then after I did that, I was like, I got to do the whole thing. This is going to look so cool whenever it's done. And then the glass on the outside of the end rods is black glass, so it kind of mirrors the floor with being black glass as well. I thought that was pretty cool, the way it just like corresponds like that, it mirrors itself. I was originally going to do a sea lantern pattern, but it really like took out from the whole build itself. It stood out way too much. It was too like in your face, almost like the center of attention whenever I put anything on top of the ceiling, and it mirrored into the floor, and all you could see in the coral reef was all the lights from the sea lantern. So I had to do something a little bit different. And finally, to give this place more character, more room, more creativity, I added geodes in the back where drowns are going to live. At first I took some zombies and transformed them into drowns, and I found it was really hard for me to get zombies in there because of my mob switch, and I kept destroying zombies out of my mob switch, and I still couldn't get them to spawn. So ended up going down into the ocean around my ocean monument, grabbing a bunch of drowns, and then putting them down here themselves. And at the end, you're going to see I'm going to put tridents in everybody's hands. I'm going to seal the geodes off with black glass to cage them fully in, but these are going to be what transform my villagers with tridents to max trade villagers. And I thought this whole aspect of it really gave it that extra creativity, and it gives it more life with more things living down there, being around, you know, the different mobs in the game. And now I figured I need even more life, so we're going to add some guardians in here. And since I originally was going to try to make a guardian farm inside the base, and from making a previous farm on my Xbox world that they spawn on the top there, so I figured I'd make a little platform up there. That way I can get some to spawn, because I know as soon as I get some in there, I could drop them down out of the hole and transport them into my minecart system I ended up making. And that way I can get them down there. I only needed about 2, so I figured as long as I can get anything to spawn, I know I can get just 2 of them down there. I kept flying away and flying back, and eventually one finally dropped in there and spawned in, and then it was just a matter of fact to get him down there, get him in my minecart, get him to go through all the water, and get him in the minecart, and then he's gonna be down trapped inside of there. There he goes, perfect, dropped right in there, started moving on his own. Now I just gotta name tag him, put some water in, that way he could live, and then he's in. And after that one's in, just another one to go, and the guardians are finally finished. Added the other one, so this is the last one we're going to add in. So as soon as you enter down the staircase, to your left and right, there's going to be 2 guardians that live in there. And so far in the build, we have 15 drowns that live down there, 2 guardians, and a bunch of tropical fish. So in that small little area, I was able to bring at least a couple different mobs into the environment, and I was pretty happy with it. I'm excited to finally have this done. Now it's time to go and build a drown farm, because this is the next step where I get the tridents and all the nautilus shells I need to start doing the invisible item frames to make the pattern above the trading hall. And for this farm, I didn't go too crazy making like a super OP one. I made a fairly simple one. It didn't really take too long. It is pretty high up in the air though. That thing did use a lot of signs. It was kind of tedious to make, but I mean, that's everything in this game. It was fairly quick compared to what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do anything that was going to take me hours and hours and hours. It only took like 2. So I got this done, and after this was on to go find all the hearts of the seas. Now I'm not going to show every single chest I went through. I'm only going to show you one, because I think that was one of the most time consuming things as well that I did, was going through finding all the treasure chests. I did use chunk base to locate everything, because it was going to be impossible and way too much time to try to find it, just sitting there looting pirate ships on my own. I just went and used chunk base, found the coordinates, went and got over 200 of them. I don't know what it was. I know it was over 200. It took like a week to do that. So on to finishing the drown farm. I ended up adding a beacon there and got an auto clicker so I could sit there and just hit the drowns. Did that for a couple overnights and eventually got enough nautilus shells that I needed. Went through, gave everybody their tridents, and I also went and enchanted all the tridents that I ended up putting inside of the pattern as well. It was like over 200 tridents as well, over 200 nautilus shells. Here's when I go in and start raiding all these treasure chests. I'm only going to show one of them, like I said. Go through and enchant all the tridents that I needed. There were shulkers and shulkers of tridents. But, you know, at the end, the pattern was definitely worth it. I was a little bit worried if the pattern was going to make a lag because of the invisible item frames, but it doesn't lag very much in there. It definitely a little bit of a frame drop, but not much, so I'm cool with it. But I'm gonna throw one last song on here, and then I'll meet you guys at the end of the video. And I really appreciate you guys for watching and waiting for this video to come out. It's been a long time since I dropped something. I've been working on this project for months. I really hope you enjoy it because I really think it's one of the best created trading halls ever built on hardcore Minecraft. And the trading hall is finally finished, other than, you know, doing the other 13 stalls of the villagers. But the design itself, it's finally done. I don't have to work on it anymore. And this is it. This is all the nautilus shells, tridents, heart of the seas, villagers I have in. All the work that's put in, it is finally done. And I'm happy to say that I have finished another project in this world, design-wise. I still need to get the function finished, but that'll come with time. It's going to be a lot of work to get those villagers in. But you can see I still got a little couple pieces there where like they keep popping through the walls and everything as I'm trying to put them in. But I really appreciate everybody who watched the video and who has subbed to my channel and showed me support through the first 1,000-day video. And this is another project that's in the world, and I hope for a lot more to come. And I'll see you guys at 2,000 days. Thanks for watching.